Hi everyone, welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie and today we're on day 150. Welcome to the channel. I am so happy that you're here today and I hope your day is going great. We're going to be reading out of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 8, Isaiah chapter 37, but only verses 21 through 38 today. Matthew chapter 26, only verses 1 through 35, and then we're going to close out the day with Psalm chapter 89, verses 14 through 18. So let's get started with Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 8. All right, here we go. When Yahweh your God brings you into the land where you go to possess it, and casts out many nations before you, the Hittite, the Girgashite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahweh your God delivers them up before you, and you strike them, then you shall utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy to them. You shall not make marriages with them, and you shall not give your daughter to his son, nor shall take his daughter for your son, for that would turn away your sons from following me, that they may serve other gods. So Yahweh's anger would be kindled against you, and he would destroy you quickly. But you shall deal with them like this. You shall break down their altars, dash their pillars in pieces, cut down their Asherah poles, and burn their engraved images with fire. For you are a holy people to Yahweh your God. Yahweh your God has chosen you to be a people for his own possession above all peoples who are on the face of the earth. Yahweh didn't set his love on you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all peoples. But Yahweh loves you, and because he desires to keep the oath which he swore to your fathers, Yahweh has brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh the king of Egypt. Know therefore that Yahweh your God himself is God, the faithful God, who keeps covenant and loving kindness to 1,000 generations with those who love him and keep his commandments, and repays those who hates him to their face to destroy them. He will not be slack to him who hates him. He will repay him to his face. You shall therefore keep the commandments, the statutes, and the ordinances which I commanded you today, to do them. It shall happen, because you listen to these ordinances and keep and do them, that Yahweh your God will keep with you the covenant and the loving kindness which he swore to your fathers. He will love you, bless you, and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your body and the fruit of your ground, your grain and your new wine and your oil, the increase of your livestock and the young of your flock, in the land which he swore to your fathers to give you. You will be blessed above all peoples. There won't be male or female barren among you or among your livestock. Yahweh will take away from you all sickness, and he will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which you know, on you, but will lay them on all those who hate you. You shall consume all the peoples whom Yahweh your God shall deliver to you. Your eyes shall not pity them. You shall not serve their gods, for that would be a snare to you. If you shall say in your heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? You shall not be afraid of them. You shall remember well that Yahweh your God did to Pharaoh and to all of Egypt the great trials which your eyes saw, the signs, the wonders, the mighty hand, and the outstretched arm by which Yahweh your God brought you out. So shall Yahweh your God do to all the peoples of whom you are afraid. Moreover, Yahweh your God will send the hornet among them, until those who are left and hide themselves perish from before you. You shall not be scared of them, for Yahweh your God is among you, a great and awesome God. Yahweh your God will cast out those nations before you little by little. You may not consume them at once, lest the animals of the field increase on you. But Yahweh your God will deliver them up before you, and will confuse them and a great confusion until they are destroyed. He will deliver their kings into your hand, and you shall make their name perish from under the sky. No one will be able to stand before you until you have destroyed them. You shall burn the engraved images of their gods with fire. You shall not covet the silver or the gold that is on them, nor take it for yourself, lest you be snared in it. For it is an abomination to Yahweh your God. You shall not bring an abomination into your house and become a devoted thing like it. You shall utterly detest it. You shall utterly abhor it, for it is a devoted thing. Chapter 8. You shall observe to do all the commandments which I command you today, that you may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers. You shall remember all the way which Yahweh your God has led you these 40 years in the wilderness, that he might humble you, to test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. He humbled you, allowed you to be hungry, and fed you with manna, which you didn't know, neither did your fathers know, that he might teach you that man does not live by bread only, but man lives by every word that proceeds out of Yahweh's mouth. Your clothing didn't grow old on you, neither did your foot swell these 40 years. You shall consider in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so Yahweh your God disciplines you. You shall keep the commandments of Yahweh your God, to walk in his ways and to fear him, for Yahweh your God brings you into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of springs, and underground water flowing into valleys and hills, a land of wheat, barley, vines, fig trees, and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land in which you shall eat bread without scarcity, and you shall not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of those hills you may dig copper. You shall eat and be full, and you shall bless Yahweh your God for the good land which he has given you. Beware lest you forget Yahweh your God in not keeping his commandments, his ordinances, and his statutes which I command you today, lest when you have eaten and are full, and have built fine houses and lived in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart might be lifted up, and you forget Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, who led you through the great and terrible wilderness with venomous snakes and scorpions, and thirsty ground where there was no water, who poured water for you out of the rock of flint, who fed you in the wilderness with manna, which your fathers didn't know, that he might humble you, and that he might prove you, to do you good at your latter end, and lest you say in your heart, my power and my might of my hand has gotten me this wealth. But you shall remember Yahweh your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he swore to your fathers, as it is today. It shall be, if you shall forget Yahweh your God, and walk after other gods, and serve them and worship them, I testify against you today, that you shall surely perish. As the nations that Yahweh makes to perish before you, so you shall perish, because you wouldn't listen to Yahweh, your God's voice. My goodness, that was a good chapter on who our God is and why it is we worship him. It's fantastic. All right, Isaiah chapter 37, verses 21 through 38. Then Isaiah, the son of Amoz, sent to Hezekiah, saying, Yahweh, the God of Israel, says, because you have prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Assyria, this is the word which Yahweh has spoken concerning him. The virgin daughter of Zion has despised you and ridiculed you. The daughter of Jerusalem has shaken her head at you. Whom have you defied and blasphemed? Against whom have you exalted your voice and lifted up your eyes on high? Against the Holy One of Israel. By your servants you have defiled the Lord, and have said, with the multitude of my chariots I have come up to the height of the mountains, to the innermost parts of Lebanon. I will cut down its tall cedars and its choice cypress trees. I will enter into its farthest height, the forest of its fruitful field. I have dug and drunk water, and with the sole of my feet I will dry up all the rivers of Egypt. Have you not heard how I have done it long ago, and formed it in ancient times? Now I have brought it to pass, that it should be yours to destroy fortified cities, turning them into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants had little power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were like the grass of the field, and like the green herb, like the grass on the housetops, and like a field before its crop has grown. But I know you're sitting down, you're going out, you're coming in, and you're raging against me. Because of your raging against me, and because your arrogance has come up into my ears, therefore I will put my hook in your nose and my bridle in your lips, and I will turn you back by the way by which you came. This shall be the sign to you. You will eat this year that which grows of itself, and in the second year that which springs from it, and in the third year sow and reap and plant vineyards and eat their fruit. The remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah will again take root downward and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem a remnant will go out, and survivors will escape from Mount Zion. The zeal of Yahweh of armies will perform this. Therefore, Yahweh says concerning the king of Assyria, he will not come to this city, nor shoot an arrow there, neither will he come before it with a shield, nor cast up a mound against it. He will return the way that he came, and he won't come to the city, says Yahweh. For I will defend this city to save it, for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. Then Yahweh's angel went out and struck 185,000 men in the camp of the Assyrians. When the men arose early in the morning, behold, these were all dead bodies. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed, went away, returned to Nineveh, and stayed there. As he was worshipping in the house of Nisroch, his god, Adremelech, and Sharezer, his sons, struck him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Ararat. Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his place. So that is very much how this format kind of folds things in together. How we just read in Deuteronomy that it's the Lord that allows us success. It's the Lord that opens pathways or doors or whatever imagery you'd like to use. as long as we move forward in trust and prayer with him, it's because of him. And then how we read in Isaiah that verse 28, I know you're sitting down, you're going out, you're coming in, and you're raging against me. He knows. All right, Matthew chapter 26, 1 through 35. Let's make sure I marked it. All right. When Jesus had finished all these words, he said to his disciples, you know that after 2 days the Passover is coming, and the Son of Man will be delivered up to be crucified. Then the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people were gathered together in the courts of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas. They took counsel together that they may take Jesus by deceit and kill him. But they said, not during the feast, lest a riot occur among the people. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, a woman came to him having an alabaster jar of a very expensive ointment, and she poured it on his head as he sat at the table. But when his disciples saw this, they were indignant, saying, why this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. However, knowing this, Jesus said to them, why do you trouble the woman? She has done good work for me. For you always have the poor with you, but you don't always have me. For in pouring this ointment on my body, she did it to prepare me for my burial. Most certainly, I tell you, wherever this good news is preached in the whole world, what this woman has done will also be spoken as a memorial of her. Then one of the 12, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests, and he said, what are you willing to give me if I deliver him to you? So they weighed out for him 30 pieces of silver. From that time, he sought opportunity to betray him. Now on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying to him, where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover? And he said, go into the city of a certain person and tell him, the teacher says, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples. The disciples did as Jesus commanded them, and they prepared the Passover. Now when evening had come, he was reclining at the table with his 12 disciples. As they were eating, he said, most certainly I tell you that one of you will betray me. They were exceedingly sorrowful, and each began asking him, it isn't me, is it, Lord? He answered, he who dipped his hand with me in the dish will betray me. The Son of Man goes even as it is written of him, but woe to that man through whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would be better for that man if he had never been born. Judas, who betrayed him, answered, it isn't me, is it, Rabbi? He said to him, you said it. As they were eating, Jesus took bread, gave thanks for it, and broke it. He gave to the disciples and said, take, eat. This is my body. He took the cup, gave thanks, and gave to them, saying, all of you drink it, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which is poured out for many for the remission of sins. But I tell you that I will not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on, until that day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom. When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. And then Jesus said to them, all of you will be made to stumble because of me tonight, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I am raised up, I will go before you in Galilee." But Peter answered him, "Even if all will be made to stumble because of you, I will never be made to stumble." And Jesus said to him, "Most certainly I tell you that tonight, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. And Peter said to him, "Even if I must die with you, I will not deny you." All of the disciples also said likewise. And we will finish that tomorrow. Okay, moving into Psalm chapter 89, verses 14 through 18. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Loving kindness and truth go before your face. Blessed are the people who learn to acclaim you. They walk in the light of your presence, Yahweh. In your name they rejoice all day. In your righteousness they are exalted, for you are the glory of their strength. In your favor our horn will be exalted, for our shield belongs to Yahweh, our King, to the Holy One of Israel. Oh, you guys, this was a good day. I know I say that a lot, but this was a really good day. Wow, this is why we are in relationship with Jesus and why we are in relationship with God. Because it is very real. Spiritually, it is very real. And it is reality for our lives today in 2023 and 2024, 2025, whenever you fall upon this channel. Boy, this was a fantastic day. Please think about the words that we read today and come on back for tomorrow, which will be day 151. And I will see you then. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.